Going. How was your week off last week and Valentine's Day and what else? What else? Celebrate our man Abe Lincoln, his birthday. I know that has like definitely been going around. Lots of illnesses. Mhm.
So everyone
Yeah.
getting together.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Last week, like 100 days.
Yeah.
Like a walker, and like spray her hair.
Yeah. The little ones really get into it. They're so fun.
My grandma there like twice a week.
Yeah.
For 2 hours. I was surprised how many people like actually made me cry. They're like, oh, you're my grandma's house. Like,
Aw.
I was here like literally 2 hours.
You've made an impact.
It was fine.
That's really sweet. Anything else going on? Thoughts are good. You'll get there together in solidarity, right? Okay, well, let me know. Today, okay, so the last time we were here, we did station rotations, right? We talked about some of the big ideas. And so we're talking about that today. So the found some videos posted on E2L that go over all of like, the big idea concepts, so we'll talk about them a lot in detail today, but yeah, we'll play some games and we'll use some of the slides in there to make centers. Any questions about stuff from what seems like 100 years ago, 2 weeks ago? The spring semester is always so just, it just it's like I feel like we've been here forever, but I've really been seeing there like twice or something. Anyways. All right, so any questions about that stuff? We talked about the big ideas of number sense, that's counting, we talked about those precursor math skills. So we'll just oh, I just want to make sure like we're going over today. So make sure you have the link for the standards, right? So when we're using standards standards, when we're doing standards for K-2, we're using Common Core and Next Generation Science Standards. So just go to the ISB website. That's the best place to go. Writing objectives. Is everyone good? Feels comfortable with like the ABCD rule of that? Okay. And then using backward design. So remember thinking about the big goals and then building from there. Okay, so just get into like small groups and let's read through this little scenario. and then respond to these questions, and then we'll come back. Talk about it. It's great. So. Just turn to your neighbors. We'll just do like 5 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes. You all can read that and then. Common Core standards are right there. Yeah, we'll just do this about ourselves. Monitor it. Person, talk it out. All right. Take another minute or two and we'll come back and we'll just talk together. All right, so what's going on with Nora? She's in first grade. What do we think? What did we discuss?
Operations and thinking that add and subtract from 20. That's what 6. Add and subtract from 20, demonstrating fluency for addition and subtraction within. Use strategies such as counting out, making 10 examples, composing a number, creating a 10. So overall, that could be some of the complex.
Yep, so that is definitely the standard that's likely aligned to what she would be learning here. What's going on though with related to that standard, maybe in terms of her ability to do adding, subtracting within 20, using strategies, counting on. Okay. Mhm.
Especially if he's using the finger, yeah, and I count.
Mhm. Yeah, so she's obviously still struggling with some basic number sense skills, right? So in first grade, we want her to have some strategies already in place to like counting on and like, you know, place value, using base 10, all of these other kinds of skills that you start to learn, right, as you start getting into these primary grades. And so right now she's not doing that. So what might we do to help her get there? Just connecting. Yeah, yeah. So like I think you'd have to go back, right? So we have to go back to what she was doing, like maybe what was happening in like kindergarten, right? And thinking about um right, building on those skills, right? Remember learning trajectories and kind of where how we want to get our students from point A to point B. So we need to be able to like build on those skills, right? So we want her to be able to count with ease, right? Because counting is very like that's essential. And so maybe here we have her, we go back and we have more concrete things for her to use, right? Like we're using like Unifix cubes or so that we can start making like base 10 blocks so she can start thinking about counting by 2s or 5s or 10s, right? That's gonna help her do addition and subtraction. Right, basic things like cardinality, right? Understanding that the last number counted, right? If she's still counting on her fingers, and it's probably unlikely that she's understanding those kinds of things. So she doesn't have a strong number sense grasp yet, right? So going back. So one important thing to think about here is you're going to have students in your classes who are going to be here, right? While everyone else is at this standard, right? So your goal is to figure out how to help her move forward while you continue to move the rest of your class along, right? Because we're not going to backtrack and teach all of this again, right? So maybe differentiation, some kind of, maybe do, the teacher-led station, right? So thinking about station rotation and blended learning models to help really reinforce those skills. And there's other kids in the class who still need help. Yeah, so you could do groups. Yeah, but so number sense, right, is essentially what we're talking about now, and we'll wrap up today. But right, she's in first grade, so by first grade, number sense needs to be solid. So we need to remember this as we kind of move along. And so go back to this. So we're going to keep talking about these other big ideas. All those videos are posted on D2L. Let's do a few more of these little scenarios. So we'll just do this together. So let's read this together and then just let me know what, just shout it out. So read this, tell me the number count. So what's Sophie doing? Sorting, yep. Mm-hmm. What else? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's using different attributes to sort and create sets, right? So yeah, so for 3 years old, this seems like very on track. She should be able to sort objects by their attributes. And the teacher is also prompting her to think about other ways, right? So remember that we can sort sets, the same set in multiple ways. And so the teacher is really prompting her to think about that next step, right? How about this one? This is our review. He can subitize or so. Yep. This is classic subitize. So you can just see, right? Subitizing is what?
When you already.
When you just see the number, the quantity without counting, right? Okay, how about this? Ellis, that's my son's name. I added his name.
I wish I had a favorite.
He's all like, bro.
Oh, no, that's so yucky.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Riz. Let him cook. I'm like, what are you doing? So my husband and I just like walk around the house and like talk like that. That's hilarious. I'm like, I don't even know what I just said. But he's like, wow. Anyways, what's going on with Ellis? This 4-year-old Ellis. You can go back to the slides. Fresh. So it's part of the rules of counting, yep. So what's he doing with his finger? So he's using tagging and one-to-one correspondence, right, to try to count the cards. But then what's happening? So, or if, I don't know that it's order irrelevance, but it's in that same camp of one of the rules of counting, where he's kind of tripping up. Stable order, right? So he's not, so he gets to a certain point and then he's like, I'm gonna count whatever, I'm gonna say whatever numbers I think come next. And so he's, right, he's not, so obviously there's something wrong with his tagging, right? His like use of one-to-one. And he's probably just counting, right? Like, I mean, we've all seen a kid do this, right? Where they're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're like counting so fast, they're not actually tagging the items, right? So we would probably have this child take each card. So the pointing tagging isn't working, right? So what I would suggest that Ellis does is he takes the cards away, right? So pulling them away so that he's counting them in stable, using stable order. Because right now he's just kind of rote counting, right? There's not a lot of like, so it's a little bit chaos. Yes, that's my, these are all mine. I forgot. I don't look at these slides for like a year that I'm like, oh, that's what we did. Okay. Okay, so Inez also not 4. So, all right, so what's happening here? What's she doing? Well, we know she can do one thing, right? She can count, she can use stable order, like she can use tagging and one-to-one. What does she need help with? What does she not got yet? They count these cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many cards do you have, Inez? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you just said it earlier. What she's missing here. So that's counting on, yeah. So that is a strategy. But we're asking her to tell us how many, right? So cardinality, right? So she doesn't have the understanding of cardinality, that the last number that you count is the total number of items that you have, right? Or whatever, right? So she has to count them again because she just doesn't realize that the 5 is the total amount. So, you'll get there, girl. You'll get there. Keep counting. All right. What's going on here? You said it earlier, actually. What does it, what? I think you said it earlier. What's happening? So he's using a rule of counting, but it's not always working well. And he's getting different numbers each time. Yeah, order irrelevance, right? So he dumps those bears all over, and he's just counting them, moving them all over. But he's counting, right, because they're all over, he's having trouble kind of keeping track, right? Even though he is using his pointer finger, right? He's tapping each one or tagging each one. Because he's just kind of randomly counting, he's miscounting. So one strategy we might do is what? What will we have him do? To help him count right. So use one-to-one correspondence, which he's kind of using.
So the card.
Yes, so we can have him just take them away. We can line them up, right, so that they're in a row. Right, because when you're counting all kind of haphazardly, even we might miss, right? So, all right, so hopefully that jogged your memory a little bit of some of those big ideas. So here are just some videos that you can watch of these concepts, kind of for resources of these concepts that are applied. Okay, so math journals. Okay, so you all know how much I love the journal and math report. So, yeah, they're moving. Yeah, we're moving. Okay. All right, so just take one of those and pass them around, and this will be your little. Use it for whatever you want. We'll use it today. So you can obviously make these or have, when you're in your own classroom, you can just put this on your supply list, right, to have your students bring in journals. And so these, journals are obviously helpful for lots of things like assessment. You can collect them and kind of see how students' work is progressing. Parents can watch that, look at them. So all right, so there are some math games up here. So if you want to get into small groups and then come and get a game and then and we'll try to play a couple, so we'll do 5 or 10 minutes and then we'll switch. So just get yourself into some groups. I don't know, 3 or 4. And then come and get a game. And so as you're playing these math games, right, think about what kind of math concepts are. Some are obvious, right? But oh yeah, that's a good one. You are to be focused on this class, not your other classes. Oh my God, it's so bad. I'm ready. I guess if we get it right, we get. So it's a dream. Actually. I hate it. I really do. The long is in the short years. So from 8:15 o'clock. That's how I come. Yeah. So then you get one of those. No, I think the staff does, right? Yes. So then rating one and whatever.
I like how there's like a little meeting individual needs section. How to help students who don't quite understand. And then there's room for like higher thinking. That's cool. Yeah.
And I just take one too.
Nine.
Then
14. And then move up 3.
looks right to me.
1, 2. Move up 3.
That's three.
Two.
Just wrong with 4 allies when there's a voice of that.
Oh, it's a word.
Yeah.
Move up.
Yeah, that was okay. Like, so, I can't really.
Yeah.
Number
20.
Alright. How's it going?
18.
Thanks for
No, sorry about it. It's like page like.
Number 10. Number 10. If you clear a money note, there's
15.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Really kind of, man.
There's
15. So do I go again then? 20 up then?
This game is so fun. I love it. Like a space.
17. 1, 2. One space. One. So, 1, 2, go.
125. We have it.
17. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Alright, how are our games? What math concepts are we exploring?
Money.
Money,
Time.
currency, are we doing anything cool with money? Or we just- So we're adding if you want to, you can take notes in your. What else? So we have a money game, we have time. Cause we're still teaching those kids about those analog clocks, right? Why though? Why do we care to teach kids about analog clocks though?
16.
They need to know how to read time. I mean, we all got like digital, right? But so the counting by 5, the fractions of, right, like it's quarter past.
Time difference too.
Can I see the-
Exactly, right? So using time as a way to do number operations. Yeah, great. What else? What about Feed the Woozle? What are you guys doing over there? I haven't seen any dancing or jumping on one foot. Okay, okay. So what tell us about that game you're playing? What is the map? Okay. Yeah, so that's like that's a counting, it's subitizing, counting, and then just like doing silly movements, right? And all the cards are like really gross, right? Like what are some of the things on there? A liverwurst popsicle, a hairy pickle. Yeah, so all the gross, weird things that kids will think are hilarious, right? All right, what else? What do you guys have up here?
We have outer space addition and
An
subtraction.
addition, board game,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, it's really nice. I like how it includes ways to help students who are not understanding the game,
Mm-hmm.
and it also includes challenges that you can give students who are doing pretty well with the game.
Yeah, that's great. So these are, so some of these games are the Lakeshore Learning, so like the one back here, the change, right, the money, the time, this one. There's a couple up here too, right? So these are all from Lakeshore Learning, and so they're all obviously designed for teachers and probably by teachers. So that it's nice that they have that kind of like leveling in there too. What about you guys up here? What did you have a puzzle? So that's already like spatial, right?
Like adding and subtracting.
Yeah, so this is like find the match, right?
And we said like. Find. Adding and subtracting, because we could find the answer to that.
Yeah,
What minus two.
right. Yep, so the different like number operation problems that you would do, so like result unknown or add in, yeah, exactly. Nice. All right, let's move on to our next activity. Since the vibe in here isn't very like game, we want to play more games. I think we want to move on to something else. But this game is super fun that I was playing up here. Match Madness. It's like probably for a little bit older kids. It's a spatial pattern game. Yeah, just stay in your group. Yeah. And eat some more sugar or something. Yeah. Oh, sure, yeah.
So. You want to make it.
So you could just use an article to basically talk about like taking students to museums or something. I don't know. It could be anything, right? Supports XYZ math skills or science skills, right? So something to like support. Yes, right.
And can I just stop on it? You had to do the bonus.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there's photos online. So yeah. No, it can, I mean, it can be in any format you want. It can be in like a Google Slides or Canva. Yeah. Most of my students don't, they do it like in slides. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't need to be like a formal paper. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. All right, so math games are one good way, like you can just have a center in your classroom that's just a bunch of math games, and students can play them, and you can rotate them out based on whatever concepts you're teaching. But so now you're going to use the supplies here to create your own center in your groups, and then we'll rotate at least one. So we'll set up the center, and then we'll play with, you know, each other's centers. Check them out. Okay. And so we want to think about, let's see. How many groups do we have? I think I just give you each one of these. So just give me like one hand up for each group that we have. So 1, 2. So 5. 5. Okay. All right. So let's do, I'll hand. Okay. All right. So you guys can do number sense. You all will do shape and pattern. In the back, number operations. Part whole right here. And then measurement and data analysis, okay? So you'll create a center related to those math concepts, and then you'll show us, you'll all present your center, and then we'll kind of swap and play at another center. Make sense? Okay.
Where will we do that one? Compare.
All right. So you can, so any of the slides that are in here. So there's like art and craft stuff here.
But yeah, so like here's like, they're like little houses on the roof that says, for example. So then or car and then you craft like. Or I don't know if you can.
All right, well, you all can look in there. Explore how I craft myself.
We would look at for you. I mean, it doesn't have to be like. Even something that. Like, like a little. Maybe some of this is right, like the first verse. So, something like that. The house is better. So we just copy this. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I did. So you can pick a grade level, yeah, think about. Or you can like think about how it might level or something. Yes, scissors. I do in my office. Let me go grab one. Yeah, there's not. I need to work. Okay. Here's some scissors if anyone needs some. No. Yeah. I really need to just like change the layout. Can you share this? Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can push these like all the way down. Yeah, no one's gonna. And we have to share it classroom. I mean, it's technically like we, it was our classroom. So I requested classes so that I have access for, but others, people teaching here that aren't like. Sounds right.
I mean, we just read books and like. They're.
Yeah.
I think we could use.
Oh, Malaya. Lay it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any there, but I'll grab the one from my office. Oh, we're gonna follow. No, like, yeah, I had like the 3 numbers, but I think they were supposed to like. So for example, one of them. So it was like, for example, at the top, that it was about. Like, what, or like, oh, so that's what I was thinking. Oh, yeah, like. For that. No. Like that, and then they just put it in. Yeah. Like 6? No, I work, yeah. You think? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no fans, right? There's the little bears.
Where's the other bucket?
They're both in here.
No, there's one bucket. Oh. I didn't see any counters or anything. They're not something like I really straight. Yeah. Yeah, you do turn your own. You do it. I think it's another discussion that we both are doing. One person from your group, one person do something. So I'm gonna discuss your thing. Right. Something that makes you turn your years. So done.
All right, how's it going?
Done? Done?
I didn't find anything.
No.
You're gonna see which combination of stars is bigger than one combination, another combination of stars. I don't know.
Yes.
What?
The
Because I think the stars are made up of different fabric, so some of them are gonna weigh differently than the others.
So he's supposed to be based off.
What do you think?
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. They can play around.
Try to see if they can balance it.
Yeah.
I think their goal should be to.
Yeah.
Do you think we should ask if she has counselors, or do you think these are?
You might haven't heard of her.
Programs, and then I developed early childhood programs. All right, what do we got?
We were wondering if you had any counters, like counter bears.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yes.
There's not more of it.
All right, so, how much time does everyone need? Like 5 minutes? Okay.
Yeah. Because I can big ads that are in English.
Like.
Maybe we can say fine.
So, yeah.
Four numbers that are equal to each other. Fine. Four. We can do. I like
was the use of stars?
kind of
We wanted all the things.
Yeah.
You think that we should just give them space to record their findings so they play around with the bears and then they can take a dot marker and put.
Alright, you guys are good? Pretty much done, almost done.
Usually then I use with the mark.
Oh, I think that's
Should we do a number that's less than that and a number that's greater?
Alright, if you finished,
Yeah.
that was still working.
We're comparing, right?
Or should they just write it?
Maybe write the word with the marker and then can stamp it with the dot.
Write the word.
Yeah, how many, yeah, the word of the number?
So how would it correlate to the, how would it correlate it to?
Let's see how many.
Okay, what if they just have to find a number that greater than, equal to, and then less than.
Yeah. But we give them so they find it, right?
And then they can dot it out with the markers. Like, I think that. All right. And on the spot. Are you gonna?
I think we're good.
Alright, take like one more minute and then we'll, each group can tell us about their center and then we'll just rotate around. We'll play at least one other. All right, is everyone good? Are you guys done? Maybe? Yeah? We're close? Okay. All right, who wants to demonstrate their center first? Okay, Olivia. All right, so let's focus on this group up here. They were doing number set, right? Okay. Yeah.
So start off rolling 2 die. Well, I got the number 6. So we would take googly eye stickers. We would add 1 in each till we have 6 on the paper. And then we go over and grab the corresponding index card. The number. Just keep going.
Great. Kids love googly eyes. This is a great use of googly eyes. They'll have their little sheets and then they can like wiggle them around. All right, great. Who wants to go next and demonstrate their center? You, okay, all right, Alex and Tina, back here.
So we're playing a caterpillar game. So they'll get a card and it has 1 caterpillar on it. And they have to count the empties to find out how many more caterpillars will take to that number 10. They don't like count the empties. They could just start putting caterpillars on the empties and count the caterpillars on the empties as they go. And then they'll say, oh, okay, well, we added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 9 more makes 10.
And they'll find the corresponding number. So they would have to look for the number. Oh, okay, this is the number 9.
Mm-hmm.
So they place the number 9 on the thing, and then they say, okay, we have 10. We have 1, now adding 9, 10. So they grab their whiteboard, and their dry erase, and they go, oh, 1 plus 9 equals 10. And they show it.
So like
Great.
3 different ways.
Yeah. I love that. I like that you all are using like kind of a 10 frame format, and this is obviously a 10 frame format. So 10 frames are going to be really helpful in thinking about addition and strategies for being able to easily see 10, right? So 5 and 5, we know that's 10. So when you see that there's 1 filled in, right, we can easily know how many more we need to fill that, just based on, right, just based on the visual of the 10 frame, which is the point of the 10 frame, which is why we teach base 10 and we use 10 frames. It's a good visual tool for our students. So great. And I love the addition of the whiteboard, and they're making an equation. So you all had number operations, right? Yes. Great. All right. Who wants to go next? Everyone has to go. Okay. Yeah, you guys go and then you guys go.
We have shapes and patterns. So we create patterns. And then they line the tires, and then they create basically like throwing the pattern. Here are the pieces, right? Where? There's a or you just the front. And yeah, and just fill up the pattern.
Yeah. Great. So this is a great, yeah, use of shape. This is also a good spatial activity. Also thinking about like composition and decomposition of shapes so that you can use many different shapes to make shapes, new shapes. And kids love Magna-Tiles. So, I mean, adults love Magna-Tiles. Let's not lie. They're great. They're so fun. All right. All right. You all want to go?
We made like these little houses. And we put a number at the top and like 2 blank squares. So for the number 4, there'll be the 2. Let's say 2, 2 and 2, or 1 and 3.
Yeah. That's great. So part whole, right? Yeah, no, so it doesn't have to be like fancy, right? I mean, and if you have a math journal and you can have them like build, like write them out and document, right? Just have them kind of continue to reinforce those ideas in their own way. They can draw or whatever. But yeah, that's great. All right. Last but not least.
We had measurement and data, so we have the balance and then we have the counter bears. And basically we have these papers, so the kids would get to find a number that is less than 1, find a number that is equal to 2, and find a number that is, sorry, greater than 1, equal to 2, and less than 4. And then they record their findings with the dot markers.
Great. So how are they using the balance?
They're going to find these
Okay,
answers using the balance. So they're gonna,
got it. Okay. So demonstrate, show us.
so if I was going to find a number that was equal to 2, I would put 2 in first, and then I would just put bears in until it makes the balance, I guess. And the kids will know when they found the number when the balance has.
Right. So maybe too thinking about measurement, right? Because these are the same size bears, right? So it's always going to be like 2 and 2 or 3 and 3. So having like one set of items that's different, right? And so then there's some comparison of like measurement, right? And then documenting that. So data analysis, right? We want to be able to like document our findings in some way, and represent it. And so if they have like 2 separate items, right, then they can say 2 bears and 5 beads or something, right? And then they can like show that visual representation too. But yeah, I like this idea. Let's go on. So, all right. Do we want to like rotate around just once and we can play each other's, give feedback? Right. Okay, great. One is like somebody taking something like or yeah. I'll like put the lyric on the remote. Right. I saw that. It was not my original idea.
Like, I love the other design. I love that'll be. Like, can I keep one? Like, that stuff? Like, if there's different size here. Oh. We're splitting this. Again. Like, see which one is. Right? Yeah. So we do 1 and 3. I think. Or if you want, just take that. 3 is heavier. Dang, how did we know? Oh, my bad.
I know, I was like,
It does. Oh, because it doesn't have like. Yeah, the thingy on it.
it like, right, like, it's just like a different counter.
Oh, we could use these 2 maybe, I don't know. Do they have weight to them? Yeah, they have like little.
Oh, way heavy. So how many, you need a lot more bears in there. How much?
Oh. 10 bears.
Nice.
Equal to 1, what's the? Hacky sack. Like that. Okay.
And you can like have them draw little bears or something. My bear. And they draw like 10 bears, or something, right?
Yeah, it's cute bear.
And one little star.
The 10 bears.
And he dies. Had more already. Yeah.
Everyone wants to play with the magnet tiles. No one wants to do the part hold.
Oh.
I understand. More questions or no left.
Oh, because they both want there.
So there should be one group for every.
Yeah, I said rotate each group. Somewhere.
We're just playing with this.
Yeah, so then you have to figure
Okay, well,
out
you
what
can-
to.
I don't even know how to play.
I need a bigger house.
Right on thing. It doesn't have to fit in the house, it's just two numbers that go that.
Why would somebody die so freshman?
Why?
I would hate this.
Create something.
I would
You can
actually
create a
hate
game.
this.
Game, maybe like
Like
you
a
have the
fraction?
fraction, and then you like make a pizza, right? Or you take away, right? Like you have a pizza, and you like take away a third of the pizza. There you go, that's better.
Yeah, that thing has so many different. It wasn't blank.
7, 1.
Yeah,
Like
so I
the
guess
cool
you could write.
dice
Oh, right
or-
on there. Maybe, yeah.
It's a free pass.
Yeah.
Making my life that much harder.
Oh, yeah, that table is. Broken.
Okay.
What is this for?
Googly eyes. All right, well, we can wrap up our centers and go back to our seats. Yeah.
Oh, I skipped it.
Yeah. I think you can also scan it and submit. Yeah, water.
All right, so let's let's put everything. Can you put this back?
Yeah.
In here, please? Put some of this stuff away. I can take that. Someone sing their favorite cleanup song. Well, you got big one up right
Yeah, that's making my children. We yell at our hands every, you know, really truck and like they're. Like they're being rushed, but they're kind of guilty, like, I didn't hear them say it, so I was looking around. Yeah, they're like, oh, that's.
All right. Yeah, just put them wherever, however it fits. So long as it can fit in there, I can relock the cabinet. All right, so. The one center we didn't do, was spatial reasoning, and so obviously some of the things that you all were doing were related to spatial, as well, but obviously like tangrams, those kinds of puzzles are all spatial, reasoning, map making. So think about the integration with like social studies and making maps, like mapping out your classroom. There's some videos of slide, an activity, using the book Rosie's Walk. And so, yeah. Any thoughts, questions about math centers? All right, so these are all, we won't go through all this stuff because this is all, I recorded the videos on, they're posted on D2L. You can go back and watch all those. These are all the big, other additional big ideas. So I will let you all go through those. Any questions about those? Did anybody get to watch those videos yet? Okay, great. Any questions for those who watched? Oh, pretty, yeah, okay. Okay, so what then do children need to know before entering the primary grades? What do we think? How to count? Number recognition? Yep. Subitizing. Right, so number sense is really key, right? I keep saying number sense, number sense, number sense. So all of the ideas related to number sense are really important before we move to primary grades where we start thinking about number operations. So again, remember moving from those like concrete, like using the unifix cubes, using counting bears, to pictorial representations, to symbolic representation of number. So as we get into first and second grade, we start moving into these more pictorial representations and symbolic use of number. So we really need them to understand these really base ideas of number sense, right? So subitizing, rules of counting, building concrete strategies. So being able to use one-to-one, stable order, all of those things, so that they can start building strategies like counting on, or base 10 strategies, or counting by 2, counting by 5, using place value. So all of these things are going to be really important. So let's watch this video. It's really great. And then we'll make our own rec and recs.
That are traveling around the city, and in fact, they are traveling on a double-decker bus. What can you tell me about a double-decker bus? What do you know? Jennifer? What do we call it? Can you show me what it looks like? Yeah, it has 2 levels, right? So it looks like one bus and then another bus on top of that. 2 levels where people can sit on both levels. So we're going to use our reference to help us think of different ways that they could affect. As I pass out the records, I would like you to remember, put one in your lap and pass the next one to your neighbor. Okay, so clear your records, and I would like you to try to think of one way that 10 people could sit on the top and the bottom of the double-decker bus. Have your idea? Show me on the picture. There are 10 people. How do they fit on that double-decker bus? When you're ready, show me under your chin. I see lots of different ways that you think people might have gotten on the bus. Angel, would you please tell me how many people you think might have gotten on top and bottom? But on top, he thinks there's 4. On the bottom, he thinks there might be 6. How did you come up with your idea? He counted each one to make sure it equaled 10. Let's try up here with his idea. Let's try his strategy. Ready? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Are there 10 people on this bus? Yes. So it's possible. It could have been 4 on top, 6 on the bottom. Let's get another idea. How about what do you think? 9 on top and 1 on the bottom. How did you know that was 10? You know that it goes on to see what strategy to use? Yes. You have to make strategy algorithm. Maybe what strategy did you use? What do you mean? Can you show me? What did he use to count on? And then he used his one. He used his fingers, and I thought he had one finger down. He started with 9. And he pumped it up and said 1 more than 10. It could be 9 and 1. Let's think of 1. Plus me. Do you have 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom? How did you know 5 is a possibility? He said 5 and 5 makes 10. Now, boys and girls, I want to hear from a lot of you your ideas. There are many ways to use 10. So what we're going to do is you're going to show me a different way than the first way you made it. You're going to hold it up, and when I call on you, I want you to tell me top and bottom. Are you ready? Let's clear your board. I want you to pick a different way to make 10 people on the bus. Okay? Let's go from Natalia, how many do you have on top? You have 7 on top. But I added 3 more to make 10 so you're good. Let me hear from 1 more. Paula. You thought maybe all 10 people wanted to be on the top level and 0 on the bottom. Anybody hear your idea? I forgot his name. What's your idea? The same as well? Very nice. All right, now boys and girls, you thought of a lot of ways, but I know the way people actually chose, and I'm going to do it on a small record because I don't want you to know yet. I want you to guess which way the people decided to go on to the bus. My first clue, on the bottom level, 3 people chose to ride. So 3 people on the bottom level. So show me if you can figure out how many people were on top. All right, Loveland, what do you think? How many people were on top? Why do you think 7 on top? Oh, so it sounds like she counted the first 3 and she counted 7 more by 1 to get 10. Was she correct? She was correct. 3 people rode on the bottom and 7 on top. Did we find only one way to show 10 people on the bus? No, there were lots of different ideas, and I heard different strategies like Cowgirl counted on. Loveland counted by 1. So it's way to do 5 and 5 was 10. So but there were many ways that you figure out the final answer. Let's read that.
All right, what did we see here? In this video. Hmm? Mhm. Yep. Right, so really focusing on strategy building and having everyone talk about the different strategies that they use to make 10. And then using the rec and rec, which, has anyone used this before? One person, two people, three people? All right, well, now you have a new fun tool that you'll be able to take home. So, I'm just gonna pass these around and we'll keep talking, but, just take one of these and then you'll need 10 red beads and 10 white beads, or if you want to just do like, you can, if you're working with younger kids and you want to do like 5 and 5. So you'll have, you want to build it like that. Right? Go get more beads, but we'll see. So just pass them around. All right, so other foundational skills, number sense skills, right? Like one-to-one correspondence, cardinality. So you really see how these number sense skills are building up to number operations, right? So you can see, oh yeah, so 2 pipe cleaners, and then however you want to make yours. You want to do like this one, you'll need 10 red beads and 10 white beads. We'll do 5, 5, 5, 5. This is like your fun, just kind of like, do here. Here, I have some right here. There is enough for everyone. And if we need more beads, I can, actually, we might have beads. And also. I thought we had beads here, but I have those beads in the other closet. We need more beads. All right, so what else did we see here? Anything else? Now we're just like distracted making stuff. I don't think she's so if you want here, I can show. I'll show you. Let's just we'll just make our so this is what it looks like, right? So if you want to do one that's has 10 on top and 10 on the bottom, or sometimes, depends on 5. 5. Again, right, depends on the grade that you're teaching. So do your oh no, we're losing our feet. How's our bead stash? Do we need more?
I think it's showing.
Alright. Okay, well, Rec and Recs are really cool. They're super fun tools to use for counting, for obviously assessing like lots of number sense skills. Doing this exact activity is always fun. Right, and so here's all the kind of number sense stuff, right? All the things that we've been talking about. So this idea of like relationships between numbers and quantities. So that idea of cardinality, understanding attributes. So, right, thinking about attributes of shapes or objects, really anything, right? And then being able to compare those things. Understanding number symbols. So this is something that comes kind of next, right? With equations, building equations and understanding things like a plus sign, addition sign means like you're bringing two things together. Ability to write like all the count appropriately and use those rules of counting. Magnitude, which we know that young children have this from a very young age when we think about supertizing, right? They can see number, they can tell which a group might have more or less without counting. Understanding different representations of number, right? So you all did part whole, so you can make numbers in many different ways, right? So that we can also we can do symbols, we can write the words, we can do all of that representation of number. And then, right, so simple math operation, number operation, and number patterns. And so, right, so some things you heard here too, or sort of thinking about different problems, right? So, right, like the solution is unknown or a missing add-in. And so you'll see these in the videos in the coming weeks for thinking about how you create like word problems, right? And the different kinds of formulas to do those things. How are we doing on beads? Okay. Thanks for your patience, everyone, as we pass the beads around. All right, so, and then we think about where we're at, right? And in terms of transitioning from kind of preschool, kindergarten, primary. So of course I have to remind us all of our child development classes, right? And thinking about where children are. So just like the learning trajectories, we want to be thinking about Piaget and Vygotsky and all of those kind of the kind of milestones, like where children are at and what they're able to do. This helps us obviously think about what they're capable of. Talked about this. All right, great. All right. So now we're moving from fundamental math skills, number sense, to number operations and algebraic thinking. Right, so this means understanding all of these things. Number symbols, that means being able to add and subtract within a big amount, right? Not small amounts. And we'll talk, and these are all again in the slides coming up, but focus on like critical thinking and problem solving. We really want to focus on procedural or not procedural understanding, right? Like the steps, like we want them to really understand conceptually, like what this means mathematically and why I'm doing this. And so, right, we're gonna focus on those kinds of ideas.
Yeah.
Relational thinking. So the whole idea that like you got to show your work, which we all hated, right, to do when we were in school. Like, I know this answer, like why do I have to write out this whole thing? Because I need to know that you know. I need to see your process, right? That's important for me as the teacher to understand how you got to that answer. Because if that answer is wrong, it's likely in the procedural steps, right, that you've taken. And so we need to backtrack, fix that. And so this is all stuff that we'll focus on, right, in the weeks to come. So any questions about the early math? So we really focused on pre-K. So obviously precursor skills and thinking about like toddlerhood and what we're focused on there. How those evolve into big ideas, which there are many. So if you haven't watched the videos, go back and watch those videos. Any questions? We see how number sense comes together in that video, right? All of the steps that we've learned about, we see, right? Using Rec and Recs is essentially using these base 10 models. We saw the students thinking about that, right? Like counting by fives, using a 10 frame, right? They had 5 and 5, like they knew it because they essentially had a 10 frame, right? So all of these steps that we take in preschool, in kindergarten, in early first grade are all going to help students do more complicated math. Now, maybe not complicated for us, right? But complicated for them. Any questions? No. It's like just so what's next, right? You're be thinking about these learning trajectories and building a learning trajectory, you know, using the actual learning trajectory model. But here you can see this is the learning trajectory for counting. And so you'll do this in your digital journal. You'll be looking at finding whatever concept you want, but really building the trajectory from preschool, kindergarten, right, first, second grade, essentially, is what you see here, right? So we start off with these kind of simple, we recognize a number and then we count, right? Then we count to bigger, right? 20. We're using loose parts and we're using, right, to create numbers. We're starting to build strategies, right? So this counting on strategy. And then we're doing, right, one of the games we had, right? We're doing math in more contextualized ways where we're using money, right? So we also think about how that all relates with social studies and how you can integrate those two areas. Any questions about that? Bless you. Everyone built their Rec and Rec? Great. So obviously this is from a place that makes things, but you can just use cardstock. You have budget to buy all this cool stuff, so I went crazy and I bought all kinds of fun stuff. So, okay, so there's no questions. So the next 2 weeks are going to be asynchronous, so we will not meet here on campus. You will do activities remotely. You'll do your digital journals. And then when we come back, we're going to do math games. Does anyone have questions about that? So you can do it with a partner. So you will present a math game in class. It can be any game you create, you should make the game. And it should be something that's pretty like self-explanatory for young children to do. So like not something that you would have to like create all of these, you would have, you would have to sit there with them. You can think about like rules that you create so that it can be played independently or with, in a small group if you're doing some kind of like centers or something. But all the assignment guidelines obviously are on D2L, so you can read that. Let me know if you have questions. We still have a couple weeks for that, so don't have to worry about that. Any questions? So do it with a partner. Yes, just 2. Or you can do it by yourself. You don't have to. It's not forced group work. That's also fine to do it independently. I know everyone works differently, so I don't want to force group work, but also I want to encourage it if that's something that you want to do. No, so those little journals are just for you to keep. You can, you know, take notes in them or write your grocery list on there or I don't know, journal. Or recycle it or leave it here if you don't want to use it. That's fine. Okay, any questions? All right, well, before you go, you could do this quick little check-in form. Oops, sorry, let me click out of here. Oh, right, yeah, you're fine. You could stay in. For others. Work on your math things. You're like, I promise when I see you next time, I'm gonna make sure I'll, you know, I'm talking to you. Just come up to me and be like, hey. You guys want me to keep these snacks? You need them for your next time? Some something? No. You're not. We'll take it. Take these. Take these. Cause they're not, you know, they're. Anyone gonna come to this, Chicago River Student Congress? Go get some. You have time. The coffee shop is is it open on campus still? And you don't even need, you know how to get over there without going outside, right? You just walk all the way downstairs. To the basement. Then we'll go through the tunnel. There's a tunnel on, I mean, it like goes through the like equipment room, you know? And then it takes you to the student union, there's a cafeteria. Go get your steps, you know, get your steps in. Go stand outside for 5 minutes and wake up. Everyone's so tired. Well, on Monday, I also teach.